Most games don't let you stick your head inside a cow's arse, but most games aren't Shroud of the Avatar. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Hayes. I've spent years playing the best MMO games available. Now it's time to do the opposite and find the worst of the worst. I'm going to play them all so you don't have to. Join me on a journey through the most awful MMOs I can find. Drop a like on the vid and sub to the channel for more gaming content, and ring the bell so you don't miss a single video. If you're enjoying the series, consider supporting through the Patreon, link below. Today, we're playing Shroud of the Avatar: Forsaken Virtue. It's on Steam, it's just under 10 gigs, and it's free. Now, Shroud of the Avatar is actually set in the Ultima universe. Ultima 1 is considered to be the very first open world game, and Ultima Online was one of the earliest MMORPGs that actually saw a level of success. The creator, Richard Garriot, has decided to combine the legacies of both online and offline gaming, because you can choose to play Shroud of the Avatar: Forsaken Virtues online as an MMO or offline as a single-player experience. You can switch these modes freely in the game. I'll be playing it online for the full MMO experience. Let's start this review with one of the most batshit insane publicity moves I've ever seen. To promote this game, designer Richard Garriot hosted an auction where you could bid for a rather interesting lot. Each package included a Shroud of the Avatar merchandise box, both in-game and out-of-game, a trip to visit the studios, and, oh yeah, a vial of his own blood. When a game designer tells you they poured blood, sweat and tears into a game, they might not mean it as literally as Richard Garriot did. The auction was live on eBay for a day before being taken down, as apparently eBay frown on buying and selling of human blood. So it moved over to the Shroud of the Avatar official shop, where two of them sold for just under $8,000 each. So now we know the level of insanity and dedication to the craft of game design we are facing. Log in, make an account, and start a character. The standard human face looks a lot like the human version of Shrek, which is far too handsome for this video, so I slide every slider to maximum, slap on a 1920s silent movie villain mustache, and get going. The game starts by telling me I find myself among the carnage and chaos of a raging battle. I mean, not really, game. Not really. Standard WASD movement, spaces jump, graphics are fine, nothing amazing, nothing bad, totally acceptable third-person fantasy adventure stuff. The game then tells me it's unsafe here, so I need to leave now. So I turn around and run away, jumping up the cliffs to safety, but nope, invisible wall. So you need to leave, but not that way. Can't go that way, because we said so. Your quest journal is written in a first-person perspective. Instead of saying something like, go to the place and kill the thing, it'll say, today I spoke to a person who told me to go to a place and kill a thing. It's nice to read, but it's really awkward to actually gather any information on. Most games have checkboxes or lists or easy-to-understand instructions of what you're meant to do, but here you've got to reread the entire paragraph and make some kind of educated guesses. There's a burning village in the distance and a zombie just casually hanging around. Combat happens when you double-click on something bad. You're equipped with a bow by default, but you've got a sword and a staff. The hotbar to the bottom of the screen shows what few abilities you have. Honestly, you don't need to use any of these to win the early combat encounters. It's essentially click and wait. It's all numbers based, and moving during combat doesn't help or hinder you. The first thing I'm angered by is this absolutely atrocious archery stance. Now, I'm not an experienced marksman, but I've fired an arrow or two, and planting your feet squarely and twisting your torso like this for every shot, that is not good. The character model is nice, but the archery animation is entirely wrong. After ripping my spine out of alignment by firing several arrows, the game tells me to escape the dangerous situation, and obviously we escape it by running directly into the burning zombie-infested village. We can also search enemies, but the animation for searching looks less like looting and more like a soft, gentle caress. Run into a burning building, find the dead person, read letter. Head upstairs and find a trapped child, staring in horror as the flames nearly engulf her. Yes, there's no way she could escape. No way at all. It would be impossible to run down the stairs and out the door. Better stand here and wait to die. Talk to the kid and she asks your name, which is quite a nice touch. While the game knows what you're called, the kid obviously doesn't. The thing is, you can type anything. So I answer with, I am Vengeance, I am the Knight, I am Batman. However, the game disregards the I am parts of your answers, as that's what it's programmed to do, and the child now refers to me as Mr. Vengeance Knight Batman. Turns out her parents told her to wait here, and as she takes all instructions completely literally, even in the face of death, she waited right there. But now Mr. Vengeance Knight Batman is here, she's happy to leave with me. We set off to find her parents, and I discover you can break boxes by attacking them. But only certain boxes. Not every box, that'd make too much sense. Also, the game has trouble judging depth and will sometimes stand slightly out of reach and let you endlessly swing at a barrel. Outside, I discover a practice dummy. It has unlimited health and grants me some experience whenever I attack it, so this poor child is forced to stand in a burning zombie-infested village and watch Mr. Vengeance Knight Batman go absolutely ham on this wooden dummy for 30 minutes while I go and get lunch. So, the experience system. I don't quite know how you manage to mess up an experience system in an RPG, but Shroud of the Avatar has managed it. Here's how the experience works. You have an experience pool. This pool fills up slightly whenever you kill an enemy. Whenever you do anything at all, swing a sword, craft an item, cast a spell, jump, think, literally anything, you gain experience in that thing. The experience you gain is pulled from your experience pool, so if the pool is empty, you gain nothing. Some actions will pull more experience from your pool if there's more XP in it. For example, a sword swing may award 1% of your total experience pool. If you want to, you can turn off experience gains for any specific thing, so no matter how many times you swing a sword, you won't gain sword fighting experience and the pool will not drain. Whenever you do gain experience in anything, the icon flashes up on the right hand side. Clicking on any of these icons opens the skill tree, and my god, are there a lot of skill trees. Every weapon type, character stat and school of magic is leveled individually and they all draw from the same shared experience pool. It's a needlessly complex and convoluted system, adding a pointless step between doing something and being rewarded for something that means you're spending more time playing behind the scenes mathematical balancing than actually playing the main game. I managed to deal with this system by banging my head against my desk until I forgot it existed and then playing as if this were a normal RPG. The child and I charge into a burning tavern and slaughter a zombie. I say slaughter, I slap it with my sword, but this little girl just shivs it in the gut for double my damage. She doesn't even hesitate, she just straight up shanks the zombie. She's actually better in combat than I am. She's leading me out the village. She's protecting me. If I'm Batman, she's Bane. I search the floor and find an unfinished letter. This is brilliant, check this out. The first paragraph of the letter ends mid-word because the village got attacked and they couldn't finish the word. They were writing it while this happened, but they had more than enough time to write an entire extra paragraph about how the village was getting attacked and how they didn't have enough time to finish the first paragraph. Genius. Charlotte, that's the little girl, leads me out of the village. I find another letter and realise this game basically tells you its entire backstory through letters written from one unimportant person to another. It's also super convenient. Everyone happened to be writing letters or carrying letters at the exact same time that everyone directly involved with the situation died. It would have been nice just to find like a completely unrelated letter to the situation, like a birthday card or a shopping list. We then can't leave the village because a robot won't let us. Wait, what? A robot won't let us go through this gate because we're not strong enough and need to level up. Conversations in this game work like they did in Morrowind. There are certain important words that appear as hyperlinks and clicking on them, or typing them, continue with that specific chat dialogue. I can understand the idea, and how designers might argue this makes the game feel real, or involved, or classic, but it doesn't. It makes the chat box look weird and full of hyperlinks. There's a reason we stopped doing this. The robot says he'll train us, but only in archery. I've got no choice, so I learn a range skill despite not using range, and Miss Terminator fights across the bridge with me. Another pet peeve, the archery skill he trained me in is called aimed shot, but I mean, every shot is aimed. If you're fighting with archery and not aiming, what are you doing? Whenever I see this name in a game, I just imagine a company of archers running in and spinning around in circles, madly firing in every direction until one of them just decides to aim and is all like, well, this is much more effective. The environment's lovely, scale is spot on, trees look good, it's understated and refined, nice and simple, and conveys the fantasy setting really well. Colours are balanced, and the distance between stuff feels real. I meet Edvard the Wanderer down by a boat. I realise this game has 0 voice acting, and he takes little Charlotte off our hands. Normally, I'd be a bit worried about handing a small girl to a creepy man with a boat, but I've seen Charlotte fight. I think she's safer than he is. Edvard gives me a new player handbook. I check the inventory and it's literally a guidebook for the entire game, but it's still written in the flowing fantasy font. This is such an odd way of doing this. In design terms, you've got a thing called diegetic and non-diegetic. Diegetic is something that fits. So you're watching a film, there's a scene in an office, you hear office noises, that's diegetic sound. But if you're playing a game and you shoot a gun and it makes a duck quack noise, that's non-diegetic. It doesn't fit. This, somehow, is both. It's a book within a game, written in a fantasy style, given to you by a character. Okay, makes sense so far, diegetic. But it contains knowledge of the game and refers to keyboard controls. That's non-diegetic. You can't just mix them. Just have an overlay tutorial. Make it one way or the other. Don't mix design styles. I'm in a really odd place about an hour in. There's clearly so much to this game, so many systems and so many numbers, but I feel so directionless. Like, I know where the game wants me to go and what it wants me to do, but I don't feel a reason as to why. I have no desire to actually go and do this. The in-game motivation was to protect Charlotte, but I've done that, she's gone, and now I'm just kinda drifting. I double-click on this boat and dissolve, because that's how boats work. Then I speak to this guard, and he gives me a leather helmet, although it looks a lot like a swimming cap I was forced to wear in high school. They send me to Captain Kinsey. On my way, I decide to kill a zombie, and let's just talk about the combat. The game animations are completely off. I'll swing a sword, wait a second, then the blood splatter effect and sounds happen. This is Sphere 3 all over again. And it happens for the whole fight. I fight a second enemy in case the first was a fluke, and nope, this is just how combat is, completely mismatched action and effect. I meet Captain Kinsey, ask some questions, and she decides to step toward me during dialogue and set my face on fire. She then tells me that bandits are hiding in the East Swamp and have stolen people's valuable family heirlooms, so I offer to go and get them back. The world map is extremely basic. It shows forests, paths, buildings, and not much else. It's not even an old-timey scroll map with hand-drawn directions, which is odd because this game seems obsessed with handwritten letters and non-diegetic tutorial books. You'd think they'd make the map the same graphical style. I cross the bridge, wander around, kill some bandits, then check the quest tracker and see I have to speak to Heloise before I go bandit hunting, so back to the camp. Tell Heloise what I'm doing, she says, yeah, that's fine, then I go back over the bridge and continue to hunt bandits. The world is much better than the game so far. The game's systems are convoluted and needlessly complex, but the actual scenery, from trees to models and the ambient light rays, they are lovely. Apparently my sword has a cleave effect and can hit 2 enemies, bringing the only level of tactics so far. Line up the enemies for quicker fights. I find this mud puddle with no sound effects. I silently splash around for a while, then I sit down, then see if I can lie down. I wait about 5 minutes to see if I can drown. I cannot. Although the in-game music does seem to have just given up. I play in ambient silence for a while. I then discover the super secret bandit hideout. It was the giant treetop platform built right out in the open. Clearly I am dealing with the masters of stealth. I spent about 20 minutes killing bandits. It's literally just clicking and waiting. It's like RuneScape, but not fun. Occasionally I have to use my healing spell. This makes combat almost not fun, but not as boring. Then the heirloom drops and the screen gets these sparkles added to it. Not entirely sure why. It might be the signal that I've got a quest item and I need to hand it in, or that I've finished a quest, or that I've angered a fairy. I don't know, but I can't make them go away. Nice scenery touch. If you jump through the spider webs, they explode and trap you. Bang on auto run because most of this game is just running, and when we talk to the guard about the heirloom, there's no quick chat option, so I've got to manually type heirloom in the chat box with the keyboard, like a caveman. Have a chat with this guy, Lord Langston. He tells me his daughter Liliana was killed by bandits, then they stole her favourite painting. I offer to get the painting back because I have literally nothing better to do. This zombie is immortal. Or combat has stopped working. Possibly both. And now we witness a miracle of nature. Caught live on camera for the first time. A zombie being born. Watch as dirt explodes and it bursts forth through the damp earth. Truly, one of nature's greatest creatures. The game tells me the painting is likely in a hut, and I can see exactly one hut, but there's a river in the way, so it's a good thing the game gave me this swimming cap earlier. Watch this thrilling sword fight under the moonlight. Okay, that's enough of that. Inside the hut, I liberate the painting, steal some potatoes, and then have a nice sit down. It's been a long adventure so far. Sometimes you just need to take the weight off your feet. Check out this advanced sword fighting technique. When I need my sword, I don't draw it from a scabbard like a peasant. I just place my hand behind my back and it magically materializes out of thin air directly into my grip. Then, when I'm done, I just put it back and it disappears, like magic. I give the painting back and am focused on the Undead mystery again. I get sent to talk to Private Preston. Apparently he's having some trouble adjusting to life surrounded by zombies, and my quest is quite literally calm him down. Alright, time to get real. Time to use all my adventuring skill and emotional subtlety. My ability to connect with another human being on a deep, intrinsic level and see if I can bring some calming, soothing vibes to Private Preston's life. Preston, calm down. World's greatest psychiatrist. Calming Preston down rewards me with the calm down emote, which is this. That's stolen from Jurassic Park, isn't it? I've been asking around about this Undead mystery, typing in the words Undead mystery and investigation to every chat box, and no one seems to know anything. Someone did mention to go southwest, so I go southwest. And by that, I don't mean I checked my map and found a route that's roughly southish and westish and followed a path. No, I mean I went directly southwest from exactly where I was standing, which ends up with me swimming out of bounds and around some rocks. Then I discover you can leave an area by getting close enough to any edge. And that brings us to the Overworld. Shroud of the Avatar is an MMO, but it's not one open world. It's broken down into small sections connected by this overworld, sort of like old Final Fantasy games. Or Risk. I run around and find a tier 2 area. Time to see if I'm tier 2 ready. I am not. I should also mention the music because it's really ditzy. It's this flirty violin. It plays a note, then stops, then another, then stops. Like someone is bouncing a violin bow off the actual strings instead of really playing it. Here, have a listen. I've also noticed how goddamn awful my character's butt is. I mean, look, that's flappy. All those trousers just don't flatter. Either way, you'd think running everywhere would give me some great buns, but apparently not, just a big old flat droopy butt. The overworld takes me to some new areas and I'm treated to the absolutely amazing accuracy of the minimap. I am standing on the path, and yet the map clearly shows me as being off the path. Well, this clearly won't do. That's better. Now we're back on the path. Now I meet Farmer Phillimore, and this guy just has a bundle of issues. He tells me his favourite chicken Betty has been killed by wolves and wants me to kill the alpha wolf in revenge. He also wants me to find Dawson, his assistant. Then Phillimore tells me some advice his father once gave him. Son, chickens have feathers. Phillimore's dad was clearly Mensa levels of smart, so I set off to kill the alpha wolf. I find a small wolf on the way and, oh god, what is wrong with your neck? That is not normal. Killing all the wolves proves quite easy, as apparently they've all got scoliosis. I collect the alpha's head and Betty the chicken's collar and head back to... Wait, why does the chicken have a collar? He's a farmer. Why is he so close to this chicken? Phillimore is happy as the wolf is dead and asks me to go and pick some cotton, which I do because this guy seems like he needs all the help he can get. Then I hand in Betty's collar and he is way too happy to see it again. Also, he's talking about Betty in a very familiar tone and I'm pretty convinced this guy fucked a chicken. For completing the Betty quest, he gives me a Helmet of Love +1. Not only does this confirm my suspicions that this guy definitely fucked a chicken, but what design do you think a Helmet of Love will have on the side of it? Yeah, that's right. A candle. I explore around the area for a bit, pop into this building, and what the hell? There is a dead body on the bed. The note on the table is from Dawson, so I guess I found your assistant. The note explains how bandits have been breaking into people's homes and killing them. That is dramatic irony. The main house also seems to have an electric lamp. I pick some more cotton and I manage to critically hit a cotton plant. How? Finish all of Phillimore's tasks, but we're both busy people, so a quick conversation with him while he's taking a shit and then back off to adventuring. Further into the map, I find a hut with an alchemist in it. I talk to him and the camera glitches into the wall and replaces him with a bad texture. This happens a lot when talking to people. The alchemist needs me to kill a fresh zombie and bring him its olfactory glands, something about making an anti-zombie scent potion. So I sort him out with a zombie nose and then I go and find some red mist. The red mist is apparently a blood minion which kills me. When dead, you become a ghost. You can either wait 5 minutes and revive at your body or find a respawn ankh and revive there. Also, despite ghosts floating, they can still jump. I get into a fight with an Ebon cultist, and to really show you how thrilling this combat is, here is the live webcam reaction. 5 thrilling minutes later, more zombies spawn, then more archers spawn, then more zombies spawn, then I realise I am standing on a spawn point. Across the bridge into town, now I'm no architect, but the lean on those buildings does not seem up to code. Even in a 3-on-1 fight, there's very little to this combat system. Now I know that in these videos people keep telling me, it gets better once you're better at it, but the same can be said for literally anything. The truth is, I'm playing it now, and it sucks now. I finally make some progress on the Undead mystery quest. This cheeky lad here has been summoning them, so I defeat him using the ancient and wise strategy of running around a tree while my health refills, then just spinning. That's always a good trick. The Legion Master isn't challenging, he's just time consuming. The game tells me to report the death of the Legion Master to the outpost, and I'm kind of wondering why. I seem to be doing most of the work here. If anything, they should be reporting to me. I have a chat with the crafting merchant and... what? I learn the Flirt emote. The Flirt emote from talking to a merchant. This is the Flirt emote. Just look at this. It's brilliant. Step forward, wave your hands a bit, then lazily reach forward, making sure to keep your hand at hip level. I tested this in real life by walking into a club and doing this exact motion in the middle of the dance floor. The wet slap of pants hitting the floor could be heard across the land. Report to Kinsey. Use the Flirt emote. Nothing happens. Yet. I seem to have nothing to do here, so head back to the first area, see if I've missed something. I meet this elf exploring the ruins. He asks my name. Go with Sparkles McButtonnose because I'm a mature adult. Try and flirt with him. Nothing happens. Then realise, nope, this area is a death tutorial. Nothing to do with the actual quest. This quest is really vague. It just says investigate the undead mystery but gives no real direction for what to do. Back to the overworld, walk south and find the first major city, Soltown, and my god, this is really something. Soltown is watched over by robotic automatons and some guard called Stanley dressed as a samurai. Then the town itself, oh good god. See, Shroud of the Avatar has player-built structures in the existing permanent world, meaning you can build stuff and other people can interact with it. You can also set up player-made shops. This always sounds good on paper because you assume people will be sensible and keep the aesthetic fantasy, but the reality is you get stuff like this. Soltown is lit up like a cheap Christmas market. It's garish and over the top. There are cosmetic items like flaming swords displayed and giant structures to nowhere built everywhere. I need to find an NPC to repair my broken equipment, and I keep finding shops that look like they're from a Final Fantasy slum market. Lovely decorative wall of glowing skulls here, very in fashion this season. Yes, a paving stone filled in with an eagle painted with the Union flag. And the height of fantasy realism, a Napoleonic-era military uniform with lightsaber and flaming skull. This is what happens when you give players building options. I climb to the top of the scaffolding, nice view but no repairman, so I just jump off the roof and die. And the game decides to make the most intense cinematic death noise ever. The problem with player-made towns like this is there's never any graphical or aesthetic cohesion. One player may make a realistic shop while another makes a bright neon sign. Please, designers, just design your game. Most players are not good designers. I can't even afford any of the basic stuff from this new player shop, which makes me feel really bad, so you know what, I just set off and do some in-game quests. I need to find the tanner. Obviously he's inside the shop marked Tailor, I should have known. I have a chat and again the camera clips into the wall. He sends me to make a leather helm, but this is a multi-step process. First I need to collect 12 cotton, which can apparently be found along the eastern trail, so I go east. There is nothing. There is no cotton in Soltown no matter where you look. maybe the Eastern Trail is on the Overworld, like it's an actual map. So I run around but can't find it. So I check the world map and see, of course, the Eastern Trail is actually southwest of where I am. It's so simple. This new map confuses me because I think my keyboard broke. See, I was running forward, then I suddenly started running backward when I came to this Eastern-inspired bridge with a few mushrooms by it. I tried to run right and ran forward instead. What? It took a few moments, but this specific section of the game messes with your controls. Left is down, right is up, everything reverses. Maybe it's the fumes from the mushrooms, maybe it's a witch's spell. Maybe it's the worst random movement mechanic I've ever seen. Maybe it's all of the above. Anyway, I managed to make it through the flipped movement area, and these enemies are way too tough for me, so back to the Overworld. While on the Overworld, there are wandering enemies. Bumping into one puts you into a large open field of bandits, but they're all tier 3. I know they'll kill me, so I just run away. I can't find any cotton locally, but I do remember there was cotton back on Chicken Fucker's farm, so I run all the way back there, pick up the plants, then another player shows up. A female player, so I quickly use the Flirt emote. She seems immune to my charms. This cow seems to have frozen. The animations have just stopped. Or this is how cows stand. I don't know, I'm not an expert on cows. After picking all the cotton, we need to wait for it to respawn, and this takes ages. I decide to attack the cow. It dies frozen into the same animation, and then while standing behind it, I go to skin the cow and manage to glitch my head inside the cow's anus. I'm also adding that to the list of sentences I never thought I'd have to write or narrate. I literally wait all night, 20 minutes of real time, for this cotton to respawn. Now this is when a casual player would quit. This game is hostile to new players. The quests are vague, the item respawn is way too long, the combat is dull, and there's somehow far too many systems and not enough to do at the same time. The cotton finally respawns, so I fill my inventory, then use one of the scrolls I was given earlier to teleport home. Back to Edwin the Tanner, who's actually a tailor. The shop's empty, so I head upstairs and I catch him in bed with a barmaid. Edwin, you sly dog, you. He teaches me how to craft. You interact with a crafting machine, click the recipe you want to make, and then you wait. Also, there's no way to stop a crafting attempt once you've started, and if you fail, you still lose the materials, and you will fail because you have a 10% chance of succeeding the first time. Run out of materials, thankfully he sells some of the things I need, so I'm able to make my single bolt of cotton. Next, I need 10 animal hides. Jesus, Edwin, we're making a single helmet. You'd think one animal hide would be enough to cover a human head, but nope. He says we need 10. The game doesn't tell me where to find animals, so I just head back to the first zone and go and hunt some deer. While hunting deer, a skeleton boss attacks. It's exactly the same as all the other enemies, but with more health. It takes about 10 minutes to find 5 out of the 10 hides, and I am so bored. The whole game isn't badly designed per se, it's just dull on a moment-to-moment gameplay level, and immensely overwhelming with the sheer amount of systems you have immediate access to. It's the worst of both worlds. There is so much to do and nothing explained to you well. I fight a bear by kiting it around. Apparently it's a ranged magical bear because it hits me with a swipe of its claws from there. And when I finally have all the hides, I can't use a teleport scroll because I'm carrying too much. It's official. You cannot use magic if you are too fat. Back to Soltown, hand in the hides, get the recipes, read them, learn them, and start crafting. But the leather working station isn't inside, it's outside, obviously. The recipe I need to use is in the middle of the recipe list, not at the top, despite being the first recipe you can actually craft in the tutorial. I then think I managed to glitch the quest because I finish it before I make the helmet. It tells me I'm successful, but I still have all the stuff here waiting to be made. Well, I'm here now, so I pop back inside and I craft the helmet. It is inferior in every way to the one given to me by the guy who fucked a chicken. Another sentence I thought I'd never have to narrate. Finishing the leather helmet gives me the Steam achievement, It Looks Pretty Good on You, which you get for completing the crafting tutorial in Soltown. This is one of the earliest and easiest achievements in the game to get. How many Steam players do you think have this? 3.3%. While in Soltown, talk to the town crier, he gives me 250 gold for being such a stand-up guy and offers to answer any question. I ask about the word mystery, investigation and undead as they're all keywords, and he gives me different answers every single time I ask, which is absolutely no help. The only new place to go is the town of Ardoris to the south, so I journey on over, chat to the town crier, who also gives me 250 gold because everyone just loves me, and then gives me random answers every time I ask about the word mystery. Okay, you know what? I'm done. The combat's boring, the systems are plentiful but badly explained, the main quest seems to actively work against you finishing it, and there's no feeling of graphical cohesion in any area where players can build. This game is a grim, dark place, with both way too much going on and not enough explanation for why it's going on. I felt a little disgusted the entire time I was playing, which is why the final score for Shroud of the Avatar Forsaken Virtues is sticking your head up a cow's arse out of 10. Cheers for watching. If you want more worst MMO ever videos, then drop a like or sub to the channel. A massive thank you to all my Patreon and Twitch supporters who make all my videos possible. And comment down below with any game you think deserves the title. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter and Discord. And as always, have a great day.